Hey, and welcome to this Thirsty Thursday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. We're coming to you today as we do every single day live on Newsmax from noon to 2 Eastern. Today we're in the downtown Manhattans. Yes, we did it again. We're still on Broadway, and we're in the Question Tequila Studios. We are well fortified, and believe me when I tell you, with the things that are going on in this country right now, we're going to need a drink, and we may need even more than that. We are in the downtown studios here in New York today, and right down the street is the New York Stock Exchange. Yesterday, the New York Stock Exchange had a tumultuous day, down over 500 points at one point. There were some fears out there with the tech stocks reporting worse than expected. Future fears with the manufacturing index from a couple days before also weighed on the market. Today, a little more calm, down just a bit. And as we speak right now, the Dow Jones is down just 29 points. Not terrible. Hang in there. There may be some buying opportunities in the tech sector. If you're looking to find some stuff at a value, there may be some stuff in there. And there may be a value in Bitcoin here at 8,100. You know, a couple of weeks ago when it dipped under 10,000, I thought that was a buying opportunity, and I myself went in and got long some more Bitcoin. I was wrong then because Bitcoin fell another 1,000 points and change. It did dip under 8,000 just a week ago over the weekend, and today it's at approximately 8,200 as we speak, and I think Bitcoin's okay here, but if it drops below 8,000 and stays there, it could free fall all the way down to the $4,000 or $5,000 level. Keep that in mind. We're going to have a whole bunch of crypto experts on every day and on today's show also to give you the best insights of what the thought leaders in the space are thinking about. And now that the markets are out of the way, let's get right down here to New York, and there were couple dozen congressmen in districts that Trump won that Nancy Pelosi was letting off the hook. She wasn't making them come out and express that they were behind impeachment. There were these Democratic congresspeople, they were trying to cover their back and cover their butt for as long as possible by not going on the record and saying that they were for impeachment. And just a week ago, after this crazy transcript came out where somehow or another the President of the United States is asking one of our allies in the Ukraine to look into the behavior of his predecessor, Vice President Joe Biden, who was Barack Obama's appointed person to handle our Ukraine strategy. And right after Barack Obama announced that Joe Biden, the Vice President, was going to be handling the Ukraine strategy, Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, was hired to be on the board of directors of a company called Burisma, which is a oil, gas, exploration resources company. He had no background in any of that field. And it seemed to many, including Democrat David Eisenbach, who was on the show with us yesterday, who was a big supporter of all things left, it stunk. When the vice president is running Ukraine, and then a couple of weeks later, the vice president's son gets paid $50,000 a month to be on the board of a company in Ukraine, I don't know about you, but it doesn't pass the sniff test with me. Not us New Yorkers, and probably not you sound-thinking people out there across America. It stinks. But yet the president asked, hey, did my predecessor do something wrong? And then Joe Biden went on the record, and he said that he told the Ukrainian government he was going to take $1 billion of loan guarantees from them if they didn't fire the prosecutor who was looking into Hunter Biden's company. And lo and behold, 6 hours later, Ukraine fired that prosecutor, and Hunter Biden's new company was in the clear from the investigation that they'd been under for corruption. So the president asks to look into the previous administration's swampy behavior, and Nancy Pelosi and the squad and Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, as Trump now calls him, flip this thing around, and they make it a grounds for impeachment of the president. And here's what Nancy Pelosi said just a few days ago.
This week, the president has admitted to asking the president of Ukraine to take actions which would benefit him politically. The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the president's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections.
So that's Nancy Pelosi saying that this rises to high crimes and misdemeanors, and now she started an official impeachment inquiry. Okay, there was some Democrats who were still not for an impeachment inquiry. One of them was a Democrat freshman congressman, Max Rose, from right here in New York City. He represents the 11th Congressional District in my hometown, where I happen to be a constituent as well. And Max Rose ran as a guy who was going to be against the establishment. He's a military veteran. We've commended him for his service many times on this show. He fought for an issue for the 9/11 Victims' Compensation Fund to be expanded, and we complimented him on this show. Since 8 o'clock this morning, I've been calling him, his office in Staten Island, his office in Washington, D.C. I've been in email contact with his communications director, and they will not respond to what drove the congressman to flip on his word. Because just a couple of weeks ago, he wrote an op-ed in the local paper here, and he told the people in his district he was not for impeachment. But then last night, he caved to the pressure of Nancy Pelosi and the squad, and he said this.
I intend to fully support this impeachment inquiry and follow the facts.
So he writes an op-ed in the local paper saying he's against it. And then the pressure comes from Nancy and the squad. And there he is last night in front of a hometown crowd. You know, he was in an audience there where there were, you know, mostly people that were for democratic causes. And for those of you who don't know, Staten Island, New York, and Brooklyn, the 11th Congressional District, went 57% for Donald Trump. In the Republican primary, Staten Island, New York, went 82% for Donald Trump. So, Congressman Rose, I've asked you many times to come on this show, and I would give you a fair forum to talk about your thoughts, the things we agree on, like the Victims' Compensation Fund, and the things we don't agree on, like joining in with the squad. And you said very adeptly last night that you were not going to be in this for political gain. And it looks like you're going against your constituents, because the majority of them were for Trump. But you're in it for political gain, Max. You're in it to cozy up to Nancy Pelosi and the squad, because you know you're going to be facing a challenger coming at you from the right in a Trump district in 2020, and you're going where the money is, right into the armpit of Nancy Pelosi and the squad. The invitation is open, Congressman Rose. You can come down here, you can call in, we're going to call your office, we're going to call your comms director, and we want an answer. What happened that just a couple weeks ago you were against impeachment, and now what in this phone call, you overlooked Joe Biden's son working for a company getting paid $50,000 a month to do nothing? That's not to be investigated, but you want a full investigation into why our president is asking if the previous administration had done anything that was corrupt or illegal. The door is open, Congressman. We're waiting for you here. My other 2 cents is this. We talked a couple weeks ago about this, how Mattel had come out with this new game. And the new game is Miss Monopoly, and the woman starts with more money than the men, and the woman gets more money for pass and go. And now we found out yesterday that Hasbro is no longer going to make Barbie dolls gender specific. They're going to be gender neutral. And Barbie is going to be, I guess our preferred pronoun is going to be they or zay or zed or whatever the heck you call a gender neutral person. But I don't know. Everybody I know thinks a Barbie doll is a girl, and the Ken doll was the guy. But I just want to fill you in on this. We did some homework. You got Brian Goldner, who's the CEO of Hasbro. He took over in 2008. For many years, Hasbro had made political contributions from 1990 to 2008, split up fairly equally between Democrats and Republicans. Since Brian Goldner has taken over in 2008, Hasbro's contributions to Republicans have gone down. They started at 8%, and now in 2019, they're at 0%. And over at Mattel, where they're taking away the gender of Barbie, Wanan Krez also has their campaign contributions for Republicans down to 0. So if you favor Trump and you favor America and you favor open-minded people who can think about all parts of the spectrum, maybe stop buying Barbie and stop buying Monopoly and, you know, turn the other cheek on Hasbro and Mattel when you're buying toys for your kids, because this is just another step in the destruction of a democratic society. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back at you at Liquid Lunch right after this.